First and foremost, I am a property nut. I am that person that sits down every single night on my computer, even before I did Cheap Irish Houses, and I would just look at houses that I couldn't afford, or ones that maybe I could afford if I sold the house I was in at the moment, things like that. I love property. It doesn't always have to cost under €100,000 for it to really, really catch my eye or to tug at my heartstrings. I am that person that looks at islands for sale off of the west coast of Ireland and goes, oh, I wonder, could I live there? I can't even swim. And I'm thinking, but surely, I mean, I wouldn't fall out with a boat or fall off the side of the island. So I am that person. I love old houses. I see some sometimes, and I'm always ringing people going, oh my God, look at this one. We have to buy this. We have to go together and buy this. The same as I do on my Instagram feed. And this house that I want to talk about today is no exception. It's one of those places that's going to really get your cogs turning. It's going to tug at your heartstrings. And regardless of the fact that it's over €100,000, it is going to make you think really strongly about whether there is any way in the world that you could make it work. So first and foremost, this is the house. It's going up for auction on the 10th of March with a guide price of €200,000, and it's in County Roscommon. Now, if you're not familiar with Ireland, County Roscommon is kind of in the Midlands, but to the northwest a little bit as well. It's not a coastal county. It's a very, very affordable county, and it's one of those places that the vernacular in the county is a lot of two-storey houses, a lot of big landed estates as well, and really, really great bargains when those two-storey houses actually get put up for sale. And this is one of them. Now, this is far more than just a two-storey house. This is a little manor house. It comes with 60 acres of land. This is a huge amount of land. It's split kind of evenly between woodland and agricultural land. And I mean, even the entrance to the house, I'm going to put a picture of it up now and you can just look at it and go, oh my God, imagine driving home there every evening. It's just fantastic. Another picture I want to show you before we go into the details of the house is what it looked like in its heyday, because this is one of those things that's quite important. It's one of those things that you need to see so you can understand what this place was meant to look like, what it should look like again if you do your job properly and you save it. So this is it. Isn't it just beautiful? So, Cashleaf House, County Roscommon, €200,000 with 60 acres of land. Let's have a closer look at this property and see if there is any way that one of you guys can make this work. So if we start with the outside of the house, one of the main things to note early on is that the house sits quite centrally within that 60 acres. Now this is a really, really big thing. If you get a really big landed estate like this and your house is on the main road or it's at a very, very far end of it, it's just not as nice, it's not as private as having it in the middle. So that's something that I really, really liked. Another thing that caught my eye from this overhead site map was the fact that there is a stone outbuilding across from the house. Now, we've no pictures of this on the listing, but if there's a chance that this is quite a fine outbuilding, then you could be in luck and it could be something that you could maybe develop as well alongside the house. When you've large houses like this, you generally don't have small outbuildings. So that's something definitely that's worth a closer look if you're lucky enough to be one of the people that goes to see it. So outside, the house isn't in terrible condition, and especially if you look back at that old picture, I'm going to put it up again here now, you can kind of look back and forth between them and see that the house is still, you know, quite structurally intact. The chimneys don't look that old, the roof doesn't look that bad from what we can see from ground level, and even things like the fact that the windows had been sheeted in and covered up means that there's a good chance that a lot of the damage that could have happened to the house may have actually been stopped from happening at all. Now, before I go too much further, I'm going to put up the rest of the pictures of the outside of the house, and I also want to let you know that the estate agent that's selling the house has a fantastic video up on their YouTube. I'm going to link it below, and it drives up from the main entrance and just brings you around the house. It's an absolutely great video. It's not just a slideshow of photos, it's a decent video. They put a lot of effort into it. I'll link it below, so when you're finished reading all the stuff here and looking at it, go and have a look at their video and yeah, buy the house. So inside is in a lot better condition than I thought it would be. I mean, sure, there's stuff stripped back and the floors aren't in great condition downstairs, but still overall this place looks quite dry. It looks quite stable. It looks like it probably, the last time it was renovated wasn't that long ago. Sure, it suffered from not being lived in, but it's not the worst house I've seen by far. And you know, even though you lose out on things like the fireplaces and stuff being taken off the walls, as you can see here, you still have a lot of the bones of the house still there, and it also gives you this little bit of freedom to put your own mark on it. So sure, yeah, we want all of the original features in a house like this if we can get them, but if we can't, it's not worth letting a house go. It's not worth losing it just because we don't have the original features still intact. So I think €200,000 or around €200,000 for a house like this is a really, really great bargain. A lot of the time when we see estates coming up, they come up for close to €1,000,000. One of the main reasons this is probably so affordable is the fact that it is in a less expensive county, but man, if you're going to own a house in Roscommon, it might as well be a mansion. I don't care what anyone says. I love Roscommon. It's so green. It has these little stone walls and stuff that is very reminiscent of the west of Ireland, but you don't have to travel as far west to get it. The value for money is crazy, and it's not that far off the beaten track. When I was buying my first house, one of the houses I travelled a really, really long way to see was actually one in Roscommon. I went from Wexford, my dad brought me, and we went to look at a little farmhouse in Roscommon. It's a gorgeous county. Don't cross it off your list. If you are coming to Ireland and you have no attachments to any county, the amount of land and house you will get for your money in Roscommon cannot be beaten, apart from maybe 2 other counties, and even at that, to be honest, Roscommon is just a no-brainer for me. It's one of my favourites. It's one of the most affordable, and Cashleave House is a prime example of it. 60 acres, an 1890s mansion, and it's at a guide of €200,000. Now, have you bought it yet? No? Have you registered to go to the online auction? I'm just so excited. I hope it sells for close to it, and I hope it sells to somebody that hasn't a massive amount of money but's going to love it and is going to just potter at it and do it up. And if you're the person that buys it, you have to let us all know, because we all want to come over for tea when this lockdown is over. So that's my first wildcard property. If you want to see more like this, let me know in the comments below and I'll make some more. I love the idea of featuring some of these houses that are a little bit more than 100,000. It's not so much that it's just everything cheap is under 100, but some things that come up in Ireland are really cheap for what they are. And a €200,000 mansion with 60 acres is exactly the kind of wild card that I want to be showing you all. So until next time, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to hit the little bell button, and it'll let you know when I have new videos up. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know below and I'll try my best to help. Bye.